Welcome to Timberland Farms. My name's Anthony. This is my 1968 Case 430 diesel farm tractor. And instead of working on paying projects for customers here at Dusty's shop, we got this thing down here. Some of you may remember in the last couple of videos, I've been struggling trying to get this thing to start in cold weather. So I got this down here. Hopefully we can address that, make it a little bit easier to start. I do understand that diesels don't like to start in the cold, especially older diesels. The older they are, the harder they start in the cold. And the colder it is, the harder it starts. But I got the sheet metal off of it. I pulled the fuel tank out. We had a little issue with the fuel tank that was leaking. So I'll show you that. That's inside. I'll show you where it's leaking from. We replaced the fuel filters, both of them. We found ice inside the fuel water separator. So we had to get that thawed out and cleaned out. And then we get fresh diesel running through the system before we pulled the tank. And we went to go try starting it, and the starter was fried. So I'm sending out the starter to get rebuilt. That should be back by the end of the week. But it's chilly outside. Let's go inside and see what we got. So right here we have our fuel tank upside down. We found a bunch of ice right here in this water separator section of the fuel tank. And it's leaking across with this mounting bracket here. To address the fuel leaking problem, I got POR 15 branded fuel tank sealer. So this is like a one-part epoxy. You put it in the tank, slosh it around, and coat the entire inside of the tank, and hopefully that will stop the leaks. This fuel tank sealer should fill in all those cracks and voids and stuff, but just in case, I went and got some JB Weld 2-part epoxy. This is their high strength stuff. It's about 5,000 PSI strength. We're going to put this on the crack on the outside. This fuel tank sealer goes on the inside, coats the whole entire inside of the tank, so we're going to be protected both inside and out. As well as having the JB Welds to help seal it up, we can also use this to help strengthen it because this is now a weaker point. So preparations for this fuel tank sealer, they suggest you using their POR 15 branded degreaser and cleaner. It's a water-based solution. You're supposed to mix it with 50-50 mix with hot water. But we're gonna go with the solvent-based solution. So I got some gas here. I'll let that warm up so the tank is a little bloated. So we're going to rinse out the tank with gas. First, put some bolts in there, slosh it around, use the bolts as our abrasives to break apart any loose rust. And then I'm going to chase that with some acetone so I get rid of any residue that might be left from the gasoline. Gas should get most of the diesel residue out of it, so I'm going to run it through with gas one time with bolts in it. Then I'm going to run it through one more time with the gas to get that residue out from the rust and everything and the bolts and stuff. So we're going to have 2 cycles of gas through it, and then we're going to have 1 cycle of acetone or until it's clean. Comes out clear. So this is a mounting plate for these new mounting bolts that hold it onto the tractor frame. It looks like somebody tried sealing this up once before. You can kind of see that there's stuff sticking out of here. Take my pocket knife across it, and it feels very soft. It's shiny, it's metallic. It's not a bronze color, so it leads me to believe that this is lead. Somebody tried sealing this up with lead at one point. But there's a nice crack. It's really hard to see even by the naked eye, but there's a crack going along this whole entire edge right here. So I'm hoping to put JB Weld across here to help strengthen this up, and then that fuel tank sealer on the inside will help seal that up from the inside. This right here is the other mounting tab. You can see these 3 circle dots thing. There's one here, and there's one right here. You wipe them clean, and they come a little bit more visible. These are your spot welds. That's what's holding this bracket onto the tank itself. If we pan it over to this bracket on the other side, you can kind of see those circle welds here. So those are the spot welds there. So all this stuff here is not factory, and you can see that the drip there looks kind of messy. So all that was holding it on there was these tack welds, spot welds, not tack welds. They're all along the side here. So hopefully just adding JB Weld across the sides here will strengthen it up enough. So this fuel tank has these 1/2 inch thick, really soft pliable rubber grommets. They sit on the fuel tank. They help isolate vibration from the tractor onto the fuel tank. It probably helps with the fuel tank cracking. There's only one of them, and it's pretty well squished down. It was missing both of them on these 2 mounting brackets. So I'm going to order 3 of these, get 3 brand new ones. I'll leave a link in the description below if you're looking for these. Well, while we're on the topic of the bottom side, this is supposed to be a little drain petcock like I have right here. So this will go in place with that guy. And it looks like I'm going to need a smaller one. But we'll save this, put that on the shelf for another project. And we also got new assortment of O-rings that should go in place in here. The thick fat ones. But there's probably 5 of them in here that are the size we need. I also picked up a can of brake clean, cleaned the surface on the outside. Now that we got the tank flipped over, we can go ahead and drop our assortment of nuts and bolts in here. I'll go ahead and add some gas. About half a gallon should work. Put our fuel cap on. While we're on the topic of the fuel cap, I think this is the culprit of our whole problems right here. As you can see, half of the cap is missing a lid, so water can get down in here and get in the tank and then end up in the fuel system. Because there was a whole lot of water in the bottom of the tank, probably an inch or so. So, got one of them coming on the way. All right, it's been sloshing around for a couple minutes. Let's flip it over and see what we got coming out. Pretty brown. We got one. Now we can go for rinse number 2. Should have used a funnel for this, boy. Quarter gallon should be enough. Yep, it's taking paint. While I'm waiting for the tank to drain and dry, I'm going to go ahead and clean the bottom here and put our JB weld on. She is shiny and degreased. Now to make some abrasive surfaces for it to adhere to. I hope it's a video that makes me millions. She's all JB welded up, so hopefully she's a little bit stronger now. So now we cleaned our tank out, we can go ahead and put this stuff in there and roll it around and coat the entire inside of the tank, just while we're still waiting for the JB weld to dry. It should take 4 to 6 hours for that to cure. Enough to handle, and 15 hours for it to fully cure. Well, we could fast forward a couple days. We got a freshly rebuilt starter. The nose and the tail are original. This barrel is new, and so is the starter solenoid. Hopefully we get this tractor back and operational tonight, ready for tomorrow's firewood day. This one's a little cumbersome to get access to, but we can manage. I tell you what, this Milwaukee heated jacket is a blessing in this cold weather. It's probably like 15 or 20 degrees outside right now, and you don't have the sunlight to warm you up. Always forgetting a step. Oh, battery's going dead on this guy too. We'll clean this guy up too. So our fuel tank is finally all sealed up. It has been over 96 hours for the cure time. And the JB weld on the bottom is also fully cured. So this is ready to install just like that starter is. So upon further investigation, this fuel cap right here, it looks like it was the culprit. I broke out the top of it all the way, but there's a hole here and it acted like a funnel, allowing water to get into the fuel tank. So this is probably how the whole fuel system iced up. I ended up breaking this apart. This is part of the fuel gauge system. I went and ordered a new fuel gauge filler cap and all that. It's got the float in there and the needle all works. But the threads on the inside, this is threaded, and this one is a tang style. So this fits in two notches, sit on the inside and lock that way. So this is not going to work for me. So I'm going to have to find an OEM fuel cap. I will not be able to use the fuel gauge on there. I'm going to have to look down the fuel filler hole and see how much fuel is in the tank. There's just one thing left to do on this guy. We have to put a new drain valve on the bottom of the tank. So right here is our drain. I got an 1/8 inch NPT drain petcock, so we can drain the water in this fuel water separator in the bottom here. And then it should be draining, and now it should be closed. Almost forgot this guy right here. This is our return fuel line coming from the injection, and coming from the injectors. Oh, I was just gonna say, how much mess can we make? Last step, we just gotta take this exhaust off, and then we put the hood back on. Yep. You'll shut off. You got smoke, that's a good sign. We didn't have that before. No, give it a little shot of ether. See if that will pop off with that. Just a little squirt.
We have a little squirt left.
Wow! Much better. Well, it's back up and running and better than it ever has been before. The fuel system has completely gone through. I don't see any leaks in the fuel system, so we shouldn't have any problems in the future. I still have to wait for a fuel cap because the old fuel cap is not... Because the old fuel cap is leaking and this new one doesn't fit, so we're going to get another one of them ordered up. In the meantime, we're just going to put a tarp over the fuel cap or a plastic bag or something to keep water out of it. We got our fuel water separator in the tank functioning. We put a new drain valve on that instead of just a plug, so we'll be able to drain the water out of that at frequent intervals as well as on the fuel filter itself. But that should be it for this video. We're going to get to cutting firewood and be a video for you guys next week. But we're going to let that warm up outside, and I guess we can end here. But thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe and stay tuned for more. And just one more thing. If you're going to the New York Farm Show, I will be there on Saturday. I think it is February 24th. Don't quote me on that. So if you'd like to come meet me, I'll be at the New York State Farm Show. It's February 22nd. It'll be a Saturday. It's the last day of the farm show this year. I'm really excited to go there. I went there last year and I was amazed of all the new farm equipment that you get to play with and look at. But hope I catch you there. If not, I hope I catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching.